Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to start our English class with chapter number 8, the pageant of fireflies. Dear students, in this chapter we will discuss about the chapter. Pageant means the occasion type of the situation, and fireflies means you already know that jugnu. That type of thing we will discuss in this chapter. Let's begin this chapter. For some time, mother had greatly enjoyed us for our swimming both in the daytime and at night. But as she appointed out when we suggested she join us, she was far too old for the sort of thing. Means we like to swim on that time, and whenever the mother watched us for swimming, then she told us why you are doing like that, daytime also, night time also. And once a time we invite her also, and she start to join us. Eventually, however, under the stand pressure from us, mother paid a visit into town and returned to the villa, coyly bearing a mysterious parcel. Means once a day, mother went to market, and after that, she came with a mysterious parcel. Opening this, she astonished us all by holding up an extraordinary shapeless garment of black cloth covered from top to bottom with hundreds of frills and pleats and tucks. We know that like a party wear frock, that type of dress she bought from market. Well, what do you think of it? Mother asked. Mother asked to everyone, what do you think about this dress? We stared at the old garment and wondered what it was for. Means we start to wonder why mother bought that type of thing. It is too much old and it is not looking good. What is it? Asked Larry at length. It's a bathing costume, of course, said mother. What on earth did you think it was? Means mother asked to her son and daughter, what do you think about it? It looks to me like a badly skinned whale, said Larry, peering it closely. Because that type of costume is fully covered with frill from upside to bottom side also, that's fully covered with frill. So she told like that it's like a bad skin whale. Means whenever whale fish is going to old, then her skin is being like that type of situation. You can't possibly wear that, mother, said Margot, horrified. Why, it looks as though it was made in 1920. Means it is looking like too much old. It looking like 1920 and we are now in a 21st century. What are all those frills and things for? Asked Larry with interest. She asked to her mother why that type of frill is covered with that type of frock and with that type of costume. What is the use of that thing in the bathing costume? Because generally we know that bathing costume is completely so simple and sober type of dresses are that made of the nylon or any type of the material. But on that costume, that the frills or something like that, you can watch that dress and that diagram also on page number 63. About that dress they are talking. Decoration, of course, said mother innocently. Then mother told that it is decoration. What a jolly idea. Don't forget to set the fish out of them when you came out of the water. Miss, her daughter told her, whenever you came out of the water, then you have to collect some pieces also. Because of that, so much fish are there, then you have to take care about that. Because surely many pieces will be stuck in that type of rock. Well, I like it anyway, mother said firmly, wrapping the monstrosity up again, and I am going to wear it. You will have to be careful you don't get waterlogged. If with all the clothes around you, said Leslie. Seriously, mother, if awful you can't wear it, said Margot. Margot again told to her mother, please mother, don't wear it. It is too much awful. It is too much bad and looking also too much bad. Why are you wearing that type of costume? Why on earth didn't you get something more up to date? Means many type of dresses are there, and why you are taking this dress here? You shall be careful, have to be careful. You don't get waterlogged with the old cloth around you. Mother, if it's awful, you can't wear it. Why on the earth that will something? You have to get more up to date dress. Mother is awful, you can't wear it. When you get to my age, dear, you can't go around in a two-piece bathing suit. You don't have the figure for that. Miss Mother asked to her daughter, you are saying to me now, but whenever you came to my age, then you can't wear that type of two-piece swimming costume or something like that. On that time, you also have to that type of swimming suit. Because of that, summer figure is not to be same as it is now only. When you get to my age, dear, I had loved to know what sort of figure that was designed for, remarked Larry. You really are hopeless, mother, said Margot despairingly. On that time, Margot with angriness told to her mother, mother, you are not thinking about this, you are really hopeless. But I like it, and I am not asking you to wear it. Mother told to him, hey, I I don't ask to you for wear it. I will ask. I will wear it. Mother pointed out belligerently. That's right. You do what you want to do. Agreed Larry. After that, at last, Larry told anything like that. Mother now didn't want to be convinced, so he told her. She told her, now whatever you want to do, you can do it. It will probably suit you very well if you can grow another 3 or 4 legs to go with it. Mothers nodded indecently and swept up the stairs to try it on her costume. Presently, she called to us to come to see effect. Then we all trooped up to bedroom. After that, mother called us, come here and watch which type of dress is this house looking. Roger was the first entrant on being greeted the assistant's apparition, clad in voluminous black costume, rippling the frills. He retreated hurriedly through the door, backwards, barking ferociously. Means a dog is there. He started to bark on that time on her mother, and it was some time before we could pursue him that it really was mother or not. Because we are also getting confused which type of costume mother is using to wear. It's too much awful. It is too much bad. But why mother is not ready to thinking about that? And even they kept giving Wesley uncertain looks from the corner of his eye. However, in spite of all opposition, mother stuck to her tent-like bathing suit and we gave up. We start to commit. Like it is tent-like costume. Tent means you know that whenever occasion is in there, then you have to use tent. That type of costume is it looking like. In order to celebrate her first entry into sea, we decided to have a moonlight picnic down at the bay and sent an invitation to Theodore, who was the only stanza at the mother would tolerate a such great occasion. Because after a long time, it's mother's first time in the sea, so we tried to celebrate invitation or something like that, a picnic type situation. The day before the great immersion arrived, food and wine were prepared, the boat was cleaned out, the filled with cushions and everything was ready. When Theodore turned up, on hearing that we had planned a moonlight picnic and sail, he reminded us that on the particular night there was no moon. Because on that time we decided to moonlight dinner, then on that time he told us it's not a moonlight or moonlight day, so on that time we have to use only candlelight dinner. Everyone blamed everyone else for not having checked on the moon's progress. After that they start to commit with each other. Why you don't know about that type of thing? You have to mention that thing, that is moon or not. But now you suddenly saying like that today there is no moon in the sky. And that type of situation is being there, but there is no sense for commitment about that type of thing because no one can change that night. And since all arrangements were made to so stressed down of this boat and loaded with the set down of the coast, Theodore and I sat in the bows and lookouts, and the rest took into the turnaround while mother stayed to begin with her eyes not having become accustomed to the dark. Mother skillfully steered us in the tight circle so that after 10 minutes strenuous rowing, the jetty suddenly loomed up and we ran into it with a splintering crash. Unarmed by this, mother went to opposite extreme and stayed out of sea. We could eventually have made a landfall somewhere on the Albanian coastline if Leslie had not noticed in that time. After this, Marco took over the steering and she did it quite well. Means on that time, Leslie is not well for the going that type of boat on that time. Leslie come here and after that, Marco tried to cover it. And the result was that we had spent 10 minutes standing talking in the boat which Margot had in her excitement steering onto. Instead of away from a rock taken all around, it was an auspicious start to mother's first bath. Means whenever our boat is start to striving with the rock, then water came into the boat and after that it is the first bath of a mother. Eventually we reached the bay, spread out of the rugs of the sands, arranged the food, placed the battalion of the wine bottles in a row in the shallows to keep cool, and the great moment had arrived. Amid much cheering, mother removed her house coat and stood revealed in the short marine Albert Memorial. Roger behaved very well until the saw mother wade into shallow water in the slow and dignified manner. He then got terribly excited. He seemed to be the under impression that bathing costume was some sort of sea monster that had enveloped the mother and was now about carry her to out of sea. Means he also don't know where his bathing costume or something like that. That's fully covered with the water and fully sank into water and barking wildly, the flung himself to rescue, grabbed the prince and dancing a plentiful round the edge of the costume and tugged it with the stem of the pole to mother back to the safety. Means on that time we tried to save our mother because she was in the struggle, and mother who had just remarked that she thought the water a little cold suddenly found herself being pulled backwards because water was too much cold on that night. With a squawk of dismay, she lost her footing and sat down heavily in 2 feet of water while Roger tugged so hard that a last section of the field gave away. Means on that time whenever a last section of the Roger is being then footing away, then the last section of that field is gave away from his her costume. Elated by the fact that the enemy appeared to be disintegrating, Roger, growling encouragement, writhed on the sand, helpless and locked her, while mother sat gasping in the shallows, making desperate attempts to regain her feet. Bait Roger off and return at least portion of her costume, unfortunately owing to the extreme thickness of the material from which inflated like a balloon. They were trying with the as if very beautiful language is used here. Because of that, the imagination scenery is also creating in our mind. And like the whenever you are entering in the sea or water like the swimming pool or something like that, then that type of our costume is like the balloon structure. That type of condition is being mentioned here. And in the end, it was the Theodore who sued Roger away and helped mother to her feet eventually. After we had part taken of the glass of wine, celebrate the recover from the latter effort to pursue us rescue of Andromeda. We went into swim and mother sat discreetly in the shallows while Roger crouched nearby, growing ominously, costume as the bulk and fluttered around mother's waist. After that, we start to serve the wine, and after that, our party is going to start, and we also entered into the bay. The phosphorescence was particularly good that night your by plunging your hand into the water and dragging it into a cloud and ray, white golden ring green ribbon of the cold fire across the sea. And when you dived as you hit the surface, it seemed so tough and you had plunged into the frosty furnaces grinding light. Means on that time whenever we start to enter that type of the fluorescence light is being there like the radium or like that type of light and heat is going to be strengthened. We seem to be on fire and on the lay on the sand of the sea, and the wine was opened at the end of the meal. After that, once again, wine is going to be started or served at the end of the meal. As if by arrangement, a few fireflies appeared in the olives behind us, a sort of overture of the soul. Like it is like a soap. Because of that, many fireflies. Fireflies means jugnus. Many type of fireflies are there on that time, and scene is very grateful, like a movie scene. First of all, there were just 2 or 3 green specks sliding smoothly through the trees, winking regularly, but gradually more and more appeared until parts of the olive grove here later where green glow. Means green colors glow is being there because of that area fully covered with fireflies. Never had we seen so many fireflies congregated in one spot. They flicked through the trees in swarms. They crawled on the grass, the bushes, and the olive trunks. They drifted in the swans on our heads and landed the rugs and like grassambers. Glittering streams of them flew out over the bay as swelling over the water, and then right on cue, the porpoises appeared swimming in line into the bay, rocking rhythmically through the water, their backs as they fainted with the phosphorus. Means that's a type of structure, that type of organism or insect. We can say like that, that is a mosquito like structure, or we can say that firefly is only normal flies, house flies being there, that type of insect is only. But special quality being the phosphorus also is being there. Because of that, the light is going to be emerging at the night time. And in the center of the wave that swam around and diving and rolling and occasionally lifting high in the air and falling back into the conflagration of the light with the fireflies above and the illuminated porpoises below. It was a fantastic sight. We could even see the luminous trails beneath the surface where the porpoises swam in fury, patterns across the sandy bottom, and when they lived high in the air, the drops of emerald glowing water flaked from them, and you could not tell if it was the phosphorus of fireflies you were looking for. Means whenever you tried to find that type of fireflies, that jugnus, on that time you didn't watch, but suddenly whenever you are start to celebrate a picnic, celebrate an occasion, and suddenly that type of jugnus or that type of fireflies is there, and especially the condition is like that on that time, on that night, moon is also not there in the sky, and that type of situation like the artificial light is being showing there for an so we watched this pageant, and then slowly pageant means a occasion or function like a short movie, and slowly the fireflies drifted back inland and farther down the coast. Then the proposals lined up and spit out the sea, leaving a flaming path behind them, flickered and glowed, and they died slowly like a glooming branch led across the bay. That type of incident is mentioned in this chapter. Dear students, it's a great work of Grade Doral, and it's carried from my family and the animals from that type of textbook. This is a part of that only. Dear students, in this chapter, he want to describe about incident whenever that her children and mother also went to picnic on the sea coast. Because of that, her child and daughter always going for swimming at the night also, at the day also. Once a day, their children invited them to swimming, and finally they agreed for that thing, and they want to celebrate a moonlight dinner, but suddenly they don't know on that night moon will be there in the sky or not, because no one checked that type of incident, and suddenly they enter into cost, and after that they blaming to each other why you don't check, and that type of incident is going on, and after that they entered into, and most important thing is here about mother's costume, black color flip frock. After that her children also start to comment but on her dress only, why you bring that type of dress, it is not looking good, it is worthy only, why frill is there, and if you are coming from the sea or bay, then many fishes will be caught in your dress, and that type of commitment they were to start to make it. And on that time she told only one thing, I like it so I wear, I don't ask to you for wear this dress. So on that time they start to enter into sea, and finally whenever they came after the sea while and start to their picnic, and they said for the starting the dinner, and suddenly a fireflies group is came above her head, and that area fully glowing with green color light, like the fluorescence phosphorus light is being there, like radium light, and completely that area is glowing with that, and they start to dinner, and after that they serve the wine, and according to this the final their picnic, and that type of incident is mentioned in this one. I hope you understand this chapter. Thank you so much. If you have any type of doubt, then you can directly ask to me on Google Meet class. Thank you so much.